Okay. Welcome. Okay, welcome back to day 45. I was scared. I heard my cat meowing, but I think he should be fine. He's inside. I think, hopefully. Yeah, I'm really like excited and nervous because the other day I called to make an appointment. I have a doctor's appointment for over the phone, thank God, for Wednesday, and I'm intrigued to see what we can do for me being trans, because we want to start testosterone and get top surgery. That's for me my biggest thing. And yeah, and also sitting down right here on my chair. It's the first time in a while that I don't have allergies, which is really nice. Yeah, I'm still thinking that I don't think, I mean, again, I don't know, but if I peed in a cup, I don't think it would be that yellow, but I could be wrong. Yeah, for Christmas I got a game, and so right now I'm downloading Cyberpunk, and hopefully it runs, or else I'm gonna have to get a refund and then buy other games, because either way I'm getting games. But yeah, I hope that that it runs. I think it would be really sad if it doesn't. But I tried looking it up of trans people playing Cyberpunk, and I just haven't seen anyone do that. So I think it's really important to have like trans voices in topics of transness. In Cyberpunk there were, you know, it's messing up talking about trans people in a lot of ways. However, like Claire is pretty well done and certain things are well done, but then there's a lot of trans like fetishization, which is not well done. But it's not like a game that's like openly like transphobic or anti-trans in a way that I'm like, I'm not gonna purchase that, that's stupid. But it's done in almost a not even like a bad but it's not this kind of way where I hear a lot of people, you know, think the opposite of being transphobic is being trans fetishization-y, which is just not true, which is just disgusting to think. Obviously, if you know anything about cyberpunk, like one of the very first things, it was a very trans fetishization thing with a trans woman with like very detailed outline down there in her pants, and it was not good. So from the very beginning of kind of releasing things since then, I'm like, but you know, someone like Claire, who's a trans woman, who's done better, but as someone who has a pretty radical ideas, like my uncle, he posts on Facebook about like, we need to change America. So I guess from a pretty radical family, but having like cyberpunk and having things like that, it's not, they're saying a lot of things that I would agree with, but they're kind of being either hypocritical about it or they're not like condemning it. So like they talk about saying like 80-hour work week, good for a person with a family, to show that like capitalism and the way our society is moving and longer work time. However, they then made their own employees work over 100 hours. So, you know, you're saying these things, but you're not following through. You also, you know, in the same like swing of a bat, they're saying how bad it is that you're like using sexualization of women, that everything's going to be super sexualized in the future, and that's not good. They don't actually really say it, but that's the next logical step that they would take. But then they don't follow through with that. They're like, oh, you know, fetishizing women and having everything be super sexualized is not good. But they're like kind of trying to be satire about it, but they're not being satire about it. They're just then showing you naked or semi-naked, or if you choose not completely nude women in like the same moment. Like, you have to actively either say, like, condemn it, say it's bad. You have to either follow through in the story to show that it's bad, or you have to make it actually a point to show that this is like satire, this is not really condemning it. And it's like the same thing where it's like, it's gritty, it's dark, but then in the same turn, you're supposed to find this game really entertaining by getting a gun, by getting these things, or like murdering on the streets. But then that's supposed to be cool in the video game, but you don't want that in real life, you know? So it's kind of a thing there where they don't like follow through with some of the things they kind of set up. And one of the things is supposed to be like equality for any gender, even if you're trans, but then they actively, out of like a handful of people that you can actually romance in the game, most of them are locked depending on if you choose male or female. And if you choose like female, you have to choose what parts you have, and then if you choose like the deep voice, the male, but if you choose those parts, like it's a no, or you have to line it up correctly for it to work. That being said, you can have preferences in real life, but if the game is trying to say like equality, it's kind of messed up that you can choose different things. And the huge problem with trans people that are actually dealing with it is that it doesn't feel well done, and it doesn't feel good when you're customizing your character, because you have two voices, you have those two pronouns, which people I don't think would have been that mad about, but then having it later after the first thing that people were like, this is transvestization. I don't know if the company, I can't remember, but people were saying how, oh, it's so inclusive, but it's not. It's just it's not. It almost feels like make your own trans person, or it's funny, especially to make a woman with genitalia. That's, I don't want to say the word, but you know the word I'm like talking about. And having that have a pop-up. Okay, cool, it worked. Having it almost feels like you're kind of making a joke about it, and then also haircuts aren't unisex, outfits aren't unisex, so it's like, it's kind of odd that like they say how inclusive they are, but then everything's super binary, so it's like kind of odd. And you know, games like Animal Crossing don't do that. Games like The Sims don't do that. Sims have way more customizable, obviously you can't customize certain things, they don't have that added, but having these like different options and stuff. And then also the second Watch Dogs, Legions, stuff like that, they have a lot of like use of like they them pronouns, especially in Legions, where because they're randomized they don't put in like gendered anything. And I think that's really more well done. But all of those things have exchangeable clothing, where I know that not everything is locked, but like certain things, especially haircuts, is locked. And then having, I don't think like pecs or no boobs are an option for like the woman. And then if you choose a guy option in Cyberpunk, you can't have boobs, so it's like kind of odd that those are not changeable. You know what I'm saying? It's a little odd. It's a I mean that, and the seizures that it causes, which is against the AAA or AAA organization. So like that's, they know better. It's a big company, they know better. They made video games in the past. They should make things accessible. Again, Watch Dogs, Legions, extremely accessible. Especially with like even the menu and stuff, way more accessible than Cyberpunk ever is. And so being trans, and I'm gonna self-acclaim myself as being punk, you guys don't see it, but and then kind of being more like a radical ideas, I guess. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but even I thought I heard movement. Even stripping all that away and just making it just a gameplay, no other faults, it's an okay game, but I am intrigued and I want to play it and I want to put my voice out there. That's annoying. I turned autoplay off when I clicked play, but I guess it'll return back on. Anyways, stay safe. No.